You okay, man?
Yeah.
You sure? You good?
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure. I good.
Are you okay?
No,
No?
of course not. Why would I be okay? How's everybody doing this lovely morning? We got power now. Yeah, I know, right? It came on about 5 o'clock, so that was nice. What's up, guys? It was a balloon. Welcome back. You have power. Yay, Marty.
Yeah, very much.
Evening. What's up from New Orleans? Doug Dobbs in the house. Marty, why aren't you working? I mean, in his world, it's 6:30, so... Hola, amigos.
Hey, what's going on?
Good evening, good evening, 5-star guys. Glad you made it home safe. We are too. 24 in Massachusetts. Y'all need to warm up before we come out there. That's for damn sure. Speaking about coming out there, in case that sounded bad, but speaking of coming out, wrong button. Hold on, let me switch this. I mean, we'll get to those guys in a minute, but hang on. Fernando made this real quick. There you go. Mobile Expo, April 22nd. Go Fast Solutions. You know what we gotta add on there is there we go, Connecticut headquarters.
Yep.
So we need a. So he made this real quick. What it's missing is a URL. So we'll have to fix that and make sure we add some form of a URL to it.
I mean, if you go to the website.
Oh, I mean, you want to be specific. But how do they go to the website? They don't have a URL.
As soon as you type "Go Fast Solutions," it's gonna take you.
It's gonna pop up.
Yeah, it's gonna pop up.
So what's happening is on April 6th.
Yep.
Go Fast Solutions is which we'll get to it in a minute. Because Dave is in Massachusetts. We're flying into Massachusetts, so it'll be a lot of fun. We'll come back to that though. We'll talk more about it later in the show. Hola, hi guys.
Hey.
What's up from Queens?
What's up?
Hey.
Mr. Jack.
Go Fast Marketing for their show is attacking me every time I open Facebook. I know, right? Yeah. They wanted us to talk about it because they're anyone that is in the industry, so to speak, or if you're working on something that has a 12-volt battery in it, they want you there. I guess that's easy.
Yeah, that was
a boat, a motorcycle, a marine.
Yeah.
They just if you're in the Northeast United States, that whole Canadian Massachusetts area are willing to make the drive to that in April on the 6th, they want you there. They have a ton of products. See if you can get a link to all the vendors that are going to be there. Just kind of have that on the back burner. So that when we go there... Oh, is that it?
Right there. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll come back to that. But before we get too deep into this... if we seem a little scatterbrained, it is ridiculously crazy around here. We're just trying to get everything ready to go for this weekend, and we just haven't had time to catch up. We're working on another Honda Accord, so that's back-to-back Honda Accords for those of you guys keeping track. This guy, however, made the trip down from Ontario, Canada. I mean, if you're in Ontario, I would think let's go to Florida. So, also at the beginning of the show, we premiered the... We didn't premiere. We played again the commercial that Fernando made for the IRTA2. If you'd like to pick up an IRTA2, make sure you head over to d&fttooldrawer.com. This place right here. And if you scroll down,
scroll down.
You can see it right there as the IRTA2. You can click on that, and you can pick yourself up one of these cool little tools to make your iPhone a 2-channel electrical RTA, which is. It's pretty awesome, guys. It is pretty awesome. But for those of you playing at home that are like, hey man, it's Facebook time.
Yeah.
We're on Facebook. So who made it to the top of the 12-volt clean wire club? I don't know, but let's find out.
Let's find out.
Who do we have here, Fernando?
We have Edward.
We have Edward?
Edward.
Yeah.
They have a cool shop in Orlando, Florida. Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice. Very cool. They do cool work. We have 3 Mosconi Pros. Let me see. It's 4 channels and a monoblock and a DSP. So very good.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did a wonderful job in there, man.
Yeah. Well, it looks great.
Yeah.
They did a spectacular job. They just need to get some like heat shrink for their company.
Yeah.
That would be about the only thing to make that like pop out of the frame. Yeah, I had to go get a bottle of water, a cough drop. My throat is extremely dry. Yeah, so nice job. He did it great. You got the Jeff Smith Clean Underwear Award. Ooh, nice. So for those of you guys that don't understand the clean underwear, dirty underwear side of this, if an install looks wonderful, but when you pull back the panel, it doesn't look so great, that's called dirty underwear. Jeff, that's a Jeff thing, by the way. He led me onto that. I had no idea, but it fits, right? Would you agree? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, look good. Who's excited about Monday? Not this guy. Can you fit a 3-way component set, Morel Ultra 2.5 6.5 in the front doors of an F-150? I don't know the year, but technically, yes, there is enough room in that where that 6x9 goes to fit the 2 and the 6. We've never done it. The problem you're going to run into is getting the wire into the door is going to be extremely difficult. It's going to be hard. But if you're willing to take the challenge, then yes, you could definitely fit those in there. I think the mid would be too low personally. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. I just feel like it'd be low. I feel like the mid should be up higher. But hey, I don't know. Give it a try. Let us know what you think. Mm-hmm. Speaking of crazy mids, oh my gosh. These came in for me today because I was talking with Casey and Natasha about, these are the Virtus Nano MM2s. Look at these things, man. Are these not the most sexiest thing? You should grab the Fernando cam, turn it on, people can see them. So this is built off of the Virtus, the Nano Carbons. This is for the 3-way set if you were to do the Nano, so you already have that small pancake speaker for the mid. Now they make the mid-range also. Oh, you're gonna pop the grill off? Alright, fine. One thing too about Morel is that the logo goes at the top. Like most of the time, like when you're putting these, they go like this. No, Morel likes it at the top. They gotta be different, which is cool. But let's see what we got here. Oh, we're active. Let's take a look at this. Alright, let's go to Fernando cam, which is 4. So here, why don't you stay up like this, and then I'll just come in a little closer. Alright, perfect. Don't move. So you have a really thin, I mean, look how thin that is. Side of an iPhone. That's, I mean, I'm dying here. There you go. But yeah, look how. And this is made out of aluminum. It is not plastic. Gosh. But anyways, if you're looking for the ultimate and thin speaker, definitely check that out. I'm excited. I got this for the Mustang. I know what you're thinking. Wow, you're actually going to put a stereo in there? Probably not, but when I do, these are what's going in it.
Alright. Can you run 3 ohm speakers to an aftermarket radio? What's up, Bobby?
Most of the aftermarket radios will take... Jeez, oh man, it's going to be a rough show. Most of the aftermarket speakers, or most of the aftermarket radios will take that 3 point whatever ohm speaker that Harman and JBL made. They went back to the drawing board and changed it to the 3 ohms so that they would be able to do that. So yes, you should be okay without having them shut off.
The RP4 FD31, do you know when it's going to be available?
It's currently available now. However, it is in short supply, so I believe most of them were probably bought up as soon as it came out. I know we got as many of them as we could as soon as they were available. But yeah, I would just check with your dealer and see if anyone has one in your area. You might have to call around.
Are we getting Rockford DSP Power T amplifiers?
if it was up to me, the answer would be yes, 100%. However, Rockford doesn't tell anybody anything, so my guess is you guys will know the same day that we know. We might know maybe 24 hours before you. That's about it. They don't tell nothing to nobody. So I wish we were, because that would be cool. What's Steve got saying? I have the Virtus Nano 3-way set waiting to go into my personal car. They are wild looking speakers. I know, right? As soon as I saw one, I was like, please, can I have one?
Yeah.
Can SCAR amps handle .05? I'm going to go with no on that. I mean, if it's rated to 1 ohm, you definitely don't want to run it past that. I mean, if you do, that's on you.
For my son's 2017 Lexus IS 350 F-Sport, audio control LC7i or JL audio fix. All JL audio amplifiers, however, I don't think it makes a difference.
What is the question? Is there a question there somewhere?
Uh-huh.
I didn't hear one. Is Singleton dead? Actually, no. We put one on over the weekend. I know, right? It's crazy. What's up, Mr. Booth? How are you today?
All right. So the question is, audio control LC7i or the JL fix? What would you use?
What kind of car?
2017 Lexus IS 350.
I mean, it's not as easy an answer as you would think. I mean, on one side, the fix would be cool because the fix has some form of equalization built into it, and would allow you to go in and do some pre-equalization. So from that part of me saying, yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I would do the fix.
But the other part of it is like the fix isn't going to deal with the all-pass filters or anything like that. So is it necessary is more the question. Because, I mean, yes, that would be the better of the two. On paper, that would be the better of the two because it has some ability to go in there and fix stuff up. There's no question about it. But the reality is you need a full DSP for that car.
Right.
I wouldn't go at that car without anything other than a full DSP. So the right answer is, yeah, sure, the fix will work and it'll get you halfway there. But the tweak on top of the fix is really what you need. But the other thing that you have to keep in mind too is how many channels are you dealing with? So if it's 10 channels, well, the LC7 is 6 and the fix is 8. So and you're not summing in that car for the most part. So what you have to figure out what you're actually doing before we can say, you know, this one is the one for you.
Alright, so this is the same one. On my son's Lexus, we found the input to the amplifier, which seems to be untuned. Will you use that?
Understand that there would be no fader. And it would probably... Okay, so a Lexus is basically a Toyota. At the end of the day, it's a Toyota.
It's not the Ampro?
Some of them will. It just depends on what it is going from one to the other. So yes, there are some of the Amp Pro TY13s that will work with the Lexus. So if you go to pack-audio.com, type in make, model, and year, there are some Lexuses that will work on that. Okay, if you decide to use that non-variable voltage output coming out of the radio that is flat, good to go, and you take that into a DSP that has some form of a volume control, external volume control, yeah. You can use that as your feed into the amps. A couple things you have to keep in mind though, is that in some of those Toyotas, there's more than one audio source into the amplifier. So like backup sensors, Bluetooth, navigation,
alright, so
warnings.
It doesn't list nothing for that.
For what?
For the Lexus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
fix.
What I'm getting at though is that yes, you could use that. You could use that. However, you have to figure out what you're losing in order to use it. Yeah.
What's up, Rick?
I got that.
All right, this one right there.
Adding a key to 100.4 to a 2019 Civic that has the bass stereo. Adding Alpine S65Cs to the front and rear. In the front, do I connect the tweeters inline crossovers to the speaker directly or use the tweeter wire from the OEM speaker location that is already there? Thank you for answering. In that car, it would probably be easier to use it the way Alpine has it wired up, to where Alpine has the passive crossover that can plug into the mid-range and go up to the tweeter. I would do that as opposed to using and then mounting the crossover. It would be simpler to just do it the Alpine way in that case. It's the same wire, meaning it comes into the mid-bass, comes out of the mid-bass, and goes up to the tweeter. So either one would be fine. But since the Alpine already comes with that longer wire, I would just use that.
Come to see Marty Dean at the Master Tech Expo.
And Doug Dobson.
And yeah. And all the HKI guys.
Tommy Who will be there.
Yeah. I got a friend with an 81 Corvette looking to upgrade the stereo with the modern features, but retain the original look. He showed me a head unit from Auto Sound that fits the bill. Any other players in the game that should be considered?
I believe it's Retro Sound.
Okay.
Retro Sound might have something for that.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Yeah.
What do we have in stock?
I have no idea. I don't know what the question was.
Yeah.
Let's just go down.
Let's see.
I forgot to mention that it has the Mark Levinson crappy amp. Thank you for your help. It sounds like we should use a DSP. Yes, you should use a DSP. There's no doubt about it. I'm guessing you don't make a dash kit for that. So yeah, I would use the DSP. I'd get something, like an 8-channel, 10-channel DSP. But first off, like I said, you have to figure out how many channels you're dealing with and whether you want to go before the amplifier and put in your own volume knob or after the amplifier.
Alright, for compact amplifiers with speaker wire outputs like the Alpine Power Pack, is there a problem using terminal blocks to join with the stock speaker wire, or just stick with the butt connectors?
It really just comes down to where you're going to mount it. If you have some place to put the barrier strips or terminal strips, whatever you want to call them, yeah, you could do that. That's perfectly fine.
What's up, Gary?
Hey, Gary. It's just a matter of how much room you have. A lot of the times with those amplifiers, you're hiding it up in the dash, and the last thing you want is some form of like a barrier strip that has all these live wires and screws that are not properly shielded to bump around inside your dash. You could also solder them. I mean, you don't have to use butt connectors.
Yeah. What's the highest level of speaker code you put on the kicker key? Millipros or Morel Virtus?
I'd say neither one of those. It's only 70 watts by 4.
Yeah.
So
I would do Morel Maximo.
Or the Ultras.
Yeah.
For
the
Milli,
the Unos?
No, the Dici. Because it goes Uno, Dici.
Okay.
So the Dici would probably be the farthest you'd want to go on that. Keep in mind, it's not really, it's made for what it is. It's a $200, well, it was at one point a $250 amplifier. You don't want to put, $700 worth of speakers on it. It's really not made for that.
Can you run 2 DSPs on one system? Thinking of buying 2 D61200s for 2 3-way component set active.
Yes, you can. There's nothing, you can run as many DSPs as you want. I believe our good friend Christopher McNulty at one point, I think he had 3 or 4 Audison Forzas in one car. Totally crazy. But yeah, you can run as many DSPs as you want, as long as you just want to toggle between the two and the software to do it. Yeah, go for it. It's not going to hurt anything. The one thing I would say is, you make sure that's the goal. Make sure that's the right thing and that you're going to have enough channels to do what you want to do. But yeah, I guess that would work, because otherwise you'd need like a 14-channel DSP. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oof.
Which Morel speaker is the same class as the K2s?
That would be the
hybrids.
The hybrids, yeah, because he goes hybrid, then elate, and the K2s are kind of right between. So if you want to go above, you go elate. If you want to go a little bit less, that'd be the hybrids.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice how they staggered them like that.
Pretty cool. 2018 Camry with the JBL. Better to mount the tweeters in the stock pillar location or the dash location facing to the windshield.
I would do a three-way set, and I would replace exactly the same. So put the tweeter up in the A-pillar, the mid-range up in the dash, and the mid-bass down in the door. They did a really good job with that car, so there's no reason not to keep it the way it is.
All right.
Isn't that what Jeff has, the Camry?
He has the Camry,
yeah.
Yes.
And he actually went and bought the factory A-pillars so he could do that.
Yeah. 2015 Murano with the Bose system. Signal from the nav head unit to the Bose amp is supposedly flat, but uses balanced signal. Any recommendations on what I can use to intercept the signal before the amplifier?
I mean, most of the time when we're dealing with Nissans, it just comes down to what amplifiers we're using. If you get so it's a flat signal, so you're going to want a DSP of some kind. So I would look at finding a DSP, not necessarily an amplifier, as far as which one, or maybe an amplifier DSP. I know we've done audio control in there. You can look at the Helix stuff. All of it should be able to just take that in and deal with it properly.
Alright. What's up, Jack?
Hey. Why is it Jack?
It's Jack DL. So
okay. I'm like, wait a minute, where'd you get Jack from that? Okay.
Alright.
Hi, Jack.
Still looking at amplifiers and have no idea which to choose. 8 or 6 channel ARC, GL audio control, looking to a full active front and rear components already installed. We'll have a shop do the install. We'll have a DSP install as well. What setup will give the shop the most flexibility for the setup and interface? One shop setup. I will not mess with the DSP setup, just the head unit to adjust sound if you need it.
Well, I mean, the reality is that, yeah, you're going to run into that. There are some shops that don't do DSP, so if you go buy a DSP, assuming that they're going to play with it, okay, if I'm trying to find somebody that, in my area, that is going to do an install for me, especially something with a DSP, is I would drive around to the local shops in the area to find out what DSPs they're familiar with. Just because you want to get something that's universal and does all this neat stuff, unless you plan on figuring out how to use it, it's not going to do you any good. We are familiar with a lot of different DSPs because we want to be. We choose to do that, but there are plenty of installers that don't want to do that. They have the ones they like, and that's all they're going to do because that's it. So I would go around to the shops in your neighborhood and find out, hey, do you do DSP? If no, move on to the next guy. If yes, find out which DSPs they use and they recommend. That way, you know, you need something. If you're not going to learn it on your own, you need something that they understand, because you're going to have to go to them and have them tune it for you, and then talk to them about tuning it. What does tuning it consist of? Do they have an RTA? Because just because someone says they know how to tune a DSP, as we found out, that doesn't mean they actually know how to tune it. It means they know how to open it up in the software, go in and set the crossover points, and then we're done. And that's not tuning it, that's just setting crossover points. So you need to have that conversation with your local guy, not what we think. I mean, those are all awesome products there to choose from, but you know, if you're not going to learn it, then you need to find somebody that knows how to use it and go with what they recommend.
Any words on a short chassis, iData capable 8-inch or bigger stereo? Short chassis.
That's a no.
9-inch. Okay.
No.
No,
Basically,
it's
what they
gonna be
want is a
long.
high 10
Yeah.
that is
Well,
IDA compatible.
Yeah, but this.
But all of them are going to be singled in or doubled in.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see that piece until 2024. What year is this?
2022.
So you might see it in 2023, 2024.
Right.
You'll definitely see that piece, but not until then.
Hello from Savannah. Long time missing the live show. Love your tricks for watching YouTube speed. 175 great for.
That was Hi-Fi's trick, man. That wasn't mine.
That's awesome. Hey guys, 2021 Honda Accord installing a kicker key 200.4 and powered sub with an LC2I. Should I run the kicker key through the line output converter as well?
Okay. Back the train up on this one. You don't want an LC2I for this car. You want to get a key lock. That is a key lock. The key LOC. The problem you're going to run into in that Honda Accord, especially a base model Honda Accord, which I'm assuming it is, because you have the premium, that ain't going to work. But you need to be able to DEQ that signal coming out of that factory radio, because if you, and what I mean by this is just go watch the audio control DSP 101 class we did last week, and you'll see the signal coming out of your car, because we were using a 2021 Honda Accord, and you'll know that on the sub part it goes just boom like this. At 80 hertz it just railroads down. And LC2I has Accubase. Accubase is not designed to fix what's wrong with your car. An Epicenter is a better tool to do that. However, the best tool is to use the key lock. Wrong camera. Because the key lock can go in and fix that. It can DEQ it, and it can bring back all that bass that you're missing. And then from there, because you're not going to be using the rear for anything, I'm assuming you're just putting the kicker key on the front. You're perfectly, you can rock on all day long with that. Now, if you are going to be putting on front and rear, then just put the key lock. It's a 2-channel. Just put it on the front and make sure you tap the subwoofers out of the front channels.
I can seem to get my amplifier set right. I either get it too high or too low. How can I set it without the DD1 multimeter or anything like that? That's just...
So the problem you're probably running into is, for one, I don't know what car you have.
Right.
But depending on the car, there's probably some form of loudness built into it. Loudness is designed to boost the bass and treble at low volumes. And it's designed to have them roll off at high volumes. So what that runs into is that you'll get into your car and you'll turn the volume all the way up to where you think it's maxed out, and you'll start adjusting the gain by ear, and it'll sound good. And then you'll turn it down and it'll sound totally different. There is no right or wrong answer to this, and there is no perfect. You're just going to have to find something that you can deal with that is acceptable. Without having the tools to properly set it up and see what is going on, well, you're basically asking us to tell you how to do. You're asking us to tell a blind guy what a tree looks like. He's never seen a tree. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what it is. He has no idea. When you buy something like the IRTA2, there again, I would buy a digital multimeter first. You can see the signal that's coming out of the radio, and you can see where the volume is rolling off or ramping up. That's one of the reasons why we came out with this piece, so that we can help you guys see all these fun things. If you'd like to get an idea of what it looks like when we're talking about, of course, I don't know why I keep hitting 4. We have a ton of videos over on the website that'll show you this stuff.
Before you go, like in there, Steve has a question that says,
I got a real dumb question. When adding an amp sub, how do you suggest finding clipping point or setting amp gains? Playing a tone full bore through OEM system doesn't seem cool. Well, actually, that was a question that we were worried about ourselves many, many years ago. And the reality of it is if you're playing a 40 hertz test tone, most of the time the speakers are not going to be able to do anything with that 40 hertz test tone. So what I suggest is, yeah, go ahead, play the 40 hertz test tone, but you're not camping out. Do your deed, get it over with. It shouldn't take you more than 5 seconds, tops, to set your gain properly. If you're using a DD1 or if you use an amp that has a clip detector on it, just boom, done. It's that quick. Turn the volume down. I'll typically have Fernando sitting there, and you're playing it at -5 dB. So the rest of the speakers aren't going crazy or anything, because there's usually some form of a roll-off in there anyways. So, yeah, it's not as bad as you'd think. Now, playing 1,000 hertz, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that at all.
Any suggestion on a budget 3-way set for a 2018 Camry currently running a Pioneer 9605 amp through a DSR-1?
Well, depending on the type of music you listen to, Sony makes a really nice affordable 3-way set in the GS line. Morel makes a set in the Maximo. It's the Ultra line. It's the Ultra. It's the Maximo Ultra. Mm-hmm. You have Focal makes a set in Access.
Yeah.
But I think out of all of those, the cheapest is the Sony. So, and they're really nice. Do you even tune, bro? Nah. Tune is for... Yeah. Anyways, you finish it. Uh-huh.
Hey, it's Marty.
What's up? Canadian Marty in the house. Installer 2022 of the year. As you can see from this little cool plaque. I've seen that before.
I see that one before. I saw it.
I saw it. As he was texting me going, man, when do you think this is going to start? I don't know. I know you won. Great shots class. Instead of being glued to my iPhone, what's a decent camera to use to post pics, etc., say under 500 bucks? Okay, so I'm a Canon guy, so this is one of those questions that I'm going to be biased as hell when I answer, and I try not to be biased. But with cameras, you kind of shoot with what you like, and given the opportunity, I'm going to shoot with a Canon. That's not to say I can't grab somebody else's camera and do what I need to do. But believe it or not, it's not the camera so much as it's the glass. So for 500 bucks, you could probably pick up like a Canon like 200M that has an interchangeable lens built on it, which is going to be pretty reasonable. And then they also, from there, they make a 20, is it a 20 millimeter f1.2, and they make a 32 millimeter f1.2 lens, which is they're pretty reasonable. The 20 is pretty cheap. I'd pick up one of those two lenses because you need that f1.2 to get that nice blurry depth of field, or bokeh, or whatever you want to call it. Kit lenses on DSLRs pretty much suck, big time. The cameras right now, it's hard to find one without the factory lens, but getting that lens is okay. It's you need something, but when you get into DSLR, man, it's immediately you got to buy another piece of glass because the factory one sucks. So you're gonna spend $1,000 before you know it.
Alright, I'm going to do my first OEM integration and changing the amplifier. I have a Hyundai Sonata Limited 2015. I bought the DSR-1, the T-harness, but I realized that I have to buy an additional SPDIF module for the analog signal to the Toslink. Could you advise me weld the first to the second SPDIF module? Hi from Rhode Island.
I haven't done one of we haven't done one of those yet. I know what he's talking about, the SPDIF module. I think iData has the. I think they do, but I don't know if it goes the direction he's trying to go. Pull up iData. Yeah, go to iData and see what they list on that. Hang on, Lewis. We'll check back with you in a second on that one. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, Fernando got some the other day. She asked if we got water.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys from New York, why is it that some DSPs don't have gain knobs? How does the technology work behind that? Most of them all have gain knobs. It's just in the software, so they're turning up the gain. They don't have analog gain knobs. Most DSPs don't have an analog gain knob. They have one that is done through the software, which at the end of the day is going to work the same. But there's very few that actually. I think Hertz has an analog gain knob on theirs, but I prefer one done through software.
I don't think so.
What is wrong? No, click on the DSR1.
Yeah, but
it's okay.
I click and they don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, because the DSR1 isn't SPDIF compatible, so I mean, he'd have to buy an SPDIF to RCA or an SPDIF to digital coax, because and then he probably won't have volume control.
Right.
Because there will be no. So what we're doing is I'm sorry, we've yeah. So there you go. There's that. Because the DSR1 doesn't have SPDIF capability, it just has digital over coax. So reality is you'd want an SPDIF to digital coax to go into the orange RCA input. But doing so, I think, is going to, you're not going to get volume control through the head unit. You'd have to use the DSR1's external volume knob and select main to be able to turn the volume up and down instead of using the steering wheel. And then you may or may not, you should be okay. But as far as which piece you'd want, I have no idea. That would definitely be head to the forums, because that's where I would go.
Yeah.
What's up, Bobby? Ah, it's Richard.
Hey.
Hey, Dean and Nando.
What's up?
It was great to see you guys in Las Vegas Knowledge Fest. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Orlando. We'll miss you guys in Indy. Well, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do to better the industry.
No, thank you, Richard. That was awesome.
And I didn't get a selfie with Richard, and he let me know.
Yeah.
So for anybody that didn't get a selfie with me, I apologize. I will do better next time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Macro lenses for super close up. I have
plenty of macro lenses.
I have way too many macro lenses, and I have never used them. I don't know why I keep buying them, because they suck. I don't ever do anything with them. The only time we used one in a video was when Kenwood came out with their new high-res screen. We used it to look at the screen.
Yep.
But other than that, no. Yeah. I've never... and I got a baller macro lens, man. I mean, I got the macro lens from Canon, but no, never use it. If you replace the factory speakers with a stock head unit, do you need to replace them with same resistance? I'm adding an amp. Does that matter at all? It does matter if you're adding an amp. If you're adding an amp, then no. You don't have to worry about the resistance other than the amplifier that you're adding. However, if you are going to have a factory head unit, and let's say it takes a 2 or 3 ohm speaker and you replace it, you will lose some of the volume, for sure. Is it bad? No. You're just going to lose some of the volume. However, you can compensate for that by buying a more efficient speaker. Now, when you're talking about like a Nissan and some of the Toyotas, when you replace that rear 6x9, yeah, you're going to lose a ton of bass. But if you're adding an amp, you'll be fine. 2.5 and 6x9 speaker, Audison or Audio Frog. That's going to be Audio Frog, hands down. That'll be Audio Frog. They're both great, but you're talking about the Prima versus the Audio Frog, and
all right, so
I don't know. I feel like
I data make this.
Don't need a lot of power to either one.
AS.
Yeah, that is right. That's for the radio, though. What does that say? Well, read what it says.
It says adapter converts to the factory radio SPDIF output to the analog or Toslink output signal needs when replacing the factory amplifier.
There you go. So that's the piece.
Yeah, like he actually sent it to me.
Yeah, there you go. So that's it right there.
Yeah. So yeah.
So get that.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, unfortunately for us, that car just doesn't hit our bay all that often. So, and I don't want to give you the wrong information. Hey, look who it is.
Who is it?
It's your boy. Yamil.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Dude, he carried me there in Vegas, like, and I'm like, okay, well, at least you have to let me know so I can hug you.
Dean, what's the deal with those toe shoes? Saw them in your vid the other day. How comfortable are they for all-day walking in? I've wore them probably as long as you've known me. Nah, I think in the beginning I was wearing Vans or something.
Yeah, you start wearing like Vans and Converse, and then you change.
Yeah, I switched to these because those sucked.
Yeah.
No, I wear them all day, every day.
Probably like 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you've ever seen me walking around a convention, that's what I got on. And I wear them all day here. And I don't know, man. Hey, everyone hates them. So, the more people hate them, the more time I'm going to wear them.
Yeah.
So.
You see Lance?
Lance Doss, the boss, is in the house. What's up? Wonder if he's going to Vegas. I mean, not Vegas, but...
Master Tech?
Yeah, Master Tech.
Are you going?
Probably not, but it'd be nice to see him there. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm using Install Bay 9-wire for the first time and connecting it to my factory wiring. It's 100 watts, okay, to run through it. It's the 18-gauge version. Yeah, of course it is. You're gonna be. I'm guessing you're doing highs. Yes, that is more than enough to. That wire is big enough for sure to handle that amount of power. Running the speakers you're going to be running, you won't have a problem.
Good evening, Dean and Fernando. Just a quick question. On a sub amplifier, what is the subsonic filter and is necessary to use? Do I need to have turned on or set?
The subsonic filter is a high-pass filter for your subwoofer. It's basically creating a bandpass, meaning it's the lowest frequency that your subwoofer is going to play, and then it's going to start to roll off. The reason why it's there is because sometimes, well, a lot of times, for one, the sub in a box is only going to play so low. And if you ask it to keep playing that, well, you're just going to create heat, and it's not going to change anything. So by adding that filter in there, you can reduce the amount of power going to the subwoofer that is inaudible. There is a whole bunch of science on it when you're looking at a ported enclosure as far as where you set that in order to keep the subwoofer from going crazy at the porting tuning frequency. But yeah, a good place to start with that is somewhere between 25 to 30 and see what it does for you. Most of the time, if you don't notice anything, that's good. That means it's doing its job, and it is just rolling the bass off, and it's just making the amplifier work a little less hard. It's not trying to produce 20 hertz at full bandwidth that your subwoofer just can't do.
Who owns the Glowforce?
Me.
Smashforce Productions.
Yeah.
And who owns Smashforce?
Which is me. So
Yeah, exactly.
yes, if you follow the line of ownership, it'd be me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, been slammed at the shop, work on YouTube videos, LOL. I totally understand.
Yeah.
But we're still going. Because
Yeah.
it's going to be fun.
You should go.
I bought a set of Infinity Kappa Perfect 6.5 components to replace my KS 6x9 components, and I lost mid-bass. You would think a more expensive speaker would sound better. Well, depends. Doesn't really work that way, though. Just because you spend a lot of money on something doesn't mean it naturally sounds better. And the next question would always be, well, how is that? It has to do with magnet size, efficiency, and power handling. If you look at a factory speaker, it typically has a small magnet on it. It's typically efficient, but it doesn't sound all that good. But a lot of the times you'll hear those factory speakers and they'll be pounding down, creating lots of bass. Because the speaker is moving very freely, which means you're moving more air, and it can create that power and that deep bass sound. Because it's moving with that 15 watts. When you look at KS speaker, KS is a very efficient speaker, doesn't take a lot of power to get up and dance, and it works well in a factory system. So you're going to keep bass response because there again you only have 15 watts, the speaker will move freely because it doesn't have a real stiff suspension, and you'll get that deep bass out of it. Now you move up to Infinity Kappa Perfects and you're like, oh my god, well you didn't change everything that you needed to change. You just assumed because you went with a more expensive speaker it was going to sound better. But the one thing that makes that speaker sound better because it's more expensive is it's got a bigger motor structure, which means it handles more power. It might be the same in efficiency, but the power rating is now different. When you look at like a KS, it might have a power handling of, let's say, 35 to 70 watts, guessing. And when you look at the Kappa, it might be, let's say, 50 to 120 watts, which is telling you that it's going to need more power to get up and dance. So if I was to guess, and I'm not guessing, I know, if you took those Kappas and you put a small amount of power to them from an amplifier, you'll probably get that bass back. Because now you have the power to move the motor structure the way it needs to be moved in order to create that bass. Right now you don't. So it kind of, yeah. The other thing too is that, and I repeat this to everyone that asks me, some manufacturers go, hey, we make subwoofers. And if we make subwoofers, we don't need our speakers to make as much bass as they might normally do because we want you to buy our subwoofer.
Yeah. Love everything you guys do. If I'm ever in Florida area, I would love to come by to the shop and meet you guys. Yeah, man.
Stop on by.
I'm gonna be
We're
here. Who owns the uranium gear? Smash for Productions.
However, you got to keep in mind it is, it's technically, yes, ours. However, it is on loan. So if they ever wanted it back, it's theirs.
They're not gonna get it back.
I mean,
so.
okay, they might not get it back, but yeah, they could ask for it back.
Subwoofer, are shallow subwoofer typically designs for seal enclosures?
No, not at all. A lot of the shallow mount subwoofers now work extremely well in ported enclosures. When the shallow mount woofer first came out many, many moons ago, yeah, they worked a lot better in sealed enclosures because they wanted that back pressure. But as the shallow woofer has evolved and more technology has been put in it, no, they actually sound really, really good in ported enclosures. The problem is that you still need to, have room in order to get it. So it is a little bit harder to do. But yes, if you can fit a ported enclosure, it'll sound good.
Are the Kenwood Excellence a good choice for the Dodge Ram truck, or will you recommend something else?
I'm assuming you're talking about the 3.5 and the 6x9. Yeah, we do those in those a lot. I really like it. It's a great, mildly priced, immediately sound better speaker. It doesn't take a lot of power. You could put like an 8205 in there and really jam that thing out. If you have the Alpine system in there, though, you're not going to be as happy as you might think, because the Alpine system actually sounds pretty good. Those speakers really excel in the Ram when you have just a base model audio. Then yeah, it'll be a substantial sound upgrade.
When building the system using the factory speaker wires, what's the max watts you feel comfortable throwing down to the wires? You have to run new large wires. So
I'll tell you the story, and you can surmise what the answer is. A friend of ours is no longer with us, works for iData, and he was an engineer. He's a lot smarter than you and me both. And this was one of the questions that I would ask him frequently, just because I love to just have him go, dude, you realize it doesn't matter, right? And I'd be like, oh, but come on, man. The same thing that happens, the same principles that apply to power wire apply to your car audio wire. So you're only going to be putting about 6-8 volts through these things, maybe 10 volts if you're lucky. Let's say 15 volts. You're not putting a ton of power over these little tiny wires that it would need a 12 gauge wire or a 16 gauge wire run through them. You can do it. I'm not telling you can't, but more than likely whatever amplifier you're going to put on it, unless you're putting some like 1200 by 2 to it, you're not going to have a problem running the factory wiring. We've tried all different kinds of things, and we've ran all different kinds of wire, and at the end of the day, nothing has ever mattered.
What's up, Bill?
What's up, car audio people?
Oops. Do you know if the Kenwood 10-inch floating radios will fit the 2014 Ford Focus? Would love to upgrade one of them.
So the problem is that it's a double din backside on that, so you have to have room for a double din. And I don't know if in the Focus, if you have to use the MFT1 kit, you're going to be really going at that dash with the saw to get some room in that. It's tight, and that's the problem, is that like that kit is a full double din, so it's hard to find that space.
All right. Any tips to determine a budget for a complete system install? What is your process for helping clients pick system components?
When it comes to that, you have to sit down, and by sit down it's just a figurative speech, you just stand there really. You kind of have to get a feel for what they want, and then through that you can kind of gauge what your budget may possibly be just by talking to the individual. So you have a number in your head that you're willing to spend for car audio. Right now, if you're looking for a decent system, you're going to be looking anywhere between, let's say, 35 to 7 grand. If you're planning on paying a shop to do it. If you're planning on doing it on your own, obviously it'll be considerably less, because installation is somewhere between 50 to 60% of the charge, just because of the amount of time it takes to do this. So doing it yourself, you can save a substantial amount of money. The question that we always pose to people is, what type of music do they listen to naturally? And everyone always says everything, and it's like, that's not true, because you don't listen to all types of music all the time. You usually have some form of a genre you really like, but then you'll have a few songs here and there that you'll bebop back and forth from. I always start with the tweeter and find out what kind of tweeter do you like, meaning do you like one that's just like, or you like something that's a little more smooth and natural sounding. Both of them are equally as loud, but if you like the in-your-face style, then get a hard dome tweeter. If you like something a little bit more smooth, then get a soft dome tweeter. There again, volume is never really an issue. They're both extremely loud. From there, naturally, the corresponding mid-bass will match up to whatever the tweeter is that you bought, because it'll come as a set. You have to figure out how you're going to interface with the radio. Meaning, are you buying a new radio? Do you have to go into the factory radio? If so, how many channels? How big is the DSP going to be? Are you going to use a DSP? So there's a lot of things to consider, but yes, I will start with the speakers, I'll talk about the tweeter, and then when it comes to interfacing with the car, which is usually something I'm doing throughout the installs, I figure that out, because that's the most important thing, is how am I getting the sound from here to here. The one thing to keep in mind is that if you're not replacing the radio, which a lot of people don't, you're not saving any money. A lot of people think just because they're keeping the factory radio because it has a screen and all this other stuff that they're going to save some money. They're not. You're not. Because your DSP is going to cost you just as much as a new radio, if not more. And if you have to pay to have it tuned, it will definitely cost you more. But, you know, it's one of the most important things. And then, of course, you need to find amplifiers. When you go to the amplifier, you have to figure out where your amplifiers are going to fit. A lot of people just go online and buy random amplifiers that are huge, thinking that they're just going to stuff them somewhere in their car, and that's not the case. You know, you have to have a plan, like where are these things going to go, and then make a mock-up, make it out of foam, make it out of a piece of wood, do whatever you need to do to actually see if it's going to fit. Keep in mind, if it's 9 inches long, you need to add about 2 inches to it for wiring, maybe 2.5 inches. So it's really about 11 inches long. So you just have to plan through it strategically to come up with what you want to do. And of course, then be realistic about how much bass you want. We had a gentleman come in and he was like, oh, I really like that shallow downfiring box that you put in that car. And I was like, well, you have 212s in your car right now. And he's like, yeah, but that looks way cooler. And I'm like, but you have 212s in your car right now. Do you like the sound of the two? Oh, yeah. Okay, well then the 112 downfiring isn't going to work for you because it's not going to sound. Oh, it's not? No, it's not. So you have to be realistic about how much bass you want. So, anyways, good luck.
Do you know if the ARC A10 subwoofer in Brian Mitchell's Caddy, it's sealed or put it?
I believe it's sealed. I believe it's sealed up in the front. I don't see him doing a ported enclosure because that would be peaky. And he definitely doesn't want peaky.
Yeah. What's up?
Good evening.
Good evening. The Pioneer 86 is a single DIN and a 10-inch.
Correct.
Yes, but it's not a shallow.
It's not shallow.
It's not shallow.
And the one thing that sucks about that radio, right, I'll tell you right off the bat, if you decide to do that, is that the USB and the HDMI, even though now they are shipping it with a 90. You need room behind that cage because they stick out a good inch, and if you're going to do HDMI, up a good 1.5 inches. So it's just a bad design as far as how they did that.
Yeah.
The shallowest mounting 10-inch,
What's up, buddy?
But it's not going to work with iData, is still the high 10. Giovanni's in the house. What's up,
buddy? How did the Brian Mitchell wire the Challenger with a 26-channel amplifier? It has 26?
No. I don't think. No, it didn't have 26 channels. No, Andy had his. Andy Waymar had the Audio Frog with his giant amplifier, but no, the Challenger was just 3-way up front, sub, and rear, so it wasn't 26 channels.
Does your shop have an SPL show car?
No, because none of us do SPL.
None.
No.
Oh.
2 6-channel amplifiers.
Oh, that makes sense.
I was gonna say
like 26. I'm like, wow.
I think he just did them pairs. I don't think he did left and right, which is, I'm assuming, what you're curious about. But I believe he did them in pairs. You know, that's a good question, though, because... That's a good question. Because he may have, I don't know. We'll have to ask him that one, because I know there's the whole crosstalk issue, and I think those amplifiers you can do, it's all DSP. It's just really in the gain, because you can use the DSP for the gain control. So he might have done left and right just so you could eliminate the crosstalk between the left and right channels. If there is any. I mean, that would be really overthinking it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. We'll have to ask him. I mean, we'll talk to him this weekend.
I want to bring my truck from Houston, Texas, so you can do a system. I'll be communication with the next. Yeah, no problem, man. We'll be here.
Unfortunately, yes, we will be here.
I mean, you can. Just be patient. You know, on the phone calls and all that stuff. So. Other than that,
wow. Look at the time.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So hey guys, wow. Let's. All right. Well, you did this, so let's shut this off so we can get away from that. Hey guys. No, you know what? We're done with those because we're gonna have to save that for another day. First off, if we all right, hold on. We need to do this because this is more important. Make sure to head over to Audio Control and use the promo code 5-Star Car Stereo. Our 5-Star Free Hat. Use promo code 5-Star Free Hat when purchasing your Epicenter Micro. That is still going on, but I think it's going to end this week. I'll make sure, but if you're interested in getting that free hat and you're going to get the Epicenter Micro, make sure to use the coupon code Free Hat for sure. That'll be fun. And then if you are going to be in Connecticut or the northeast part of the United States, April 6th, and you're in the 12-volt world, or if you work on things that have 12-volt batteries, you do audio in them, make sure you head over to GoFast Solutions. That is GoFast.com, and you can register to attend. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to it. Probably next week. We'll spend more time really going through that, or this Saturday we might spend some time on that. And then, of course, head over to Mobile Solutions. You can pick up your wire ruler there if you want clean wiring, like we saw this beginning of the show with our Facebook guy. And then this weekend, of course, we will be, not there, this one, we'll be at the Mobile Tech Expo. So following along with with Mobile Solutions. It's 6 short days away, I know. It's hard to believe it's finally coming up here. That's it, though. That's it. That's all we got. You can head over to... Gosh, I keep hitting the wrong button. Wrong button. This is just fun. You can head over to DNF Tool Drawer. That's dnftooldrawer.com, where you can click on the link for the IRTA2. You can pick that up, and you too can become a master at what is going on with your signal and know everything there is to know about it. And of course, dnfswag.com. That's dnfswag.com will take you to the place where you can pick up, you know, your swag, get your cool shirts, get all that fun stuff. That's it. That's all we got.
That's it.
What is he saying here? We need clean wire, not clean. Whatever works for you. And of course, we'll end it with that. You guys rock. Thank you guys so much for playing along tonight with us. You guys have a great rest of your week. We will see you back here Friday morning at 9 o'clock on what is it? Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips. That's it. We'll see you at 9 o'clock, Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips for the news. So that'll be bright and early Friday at 9 o'clock. And of course, Saturday at 6 p.m. We'll see you over on the 5-Star Network over there on YouTube. And that's it. There'll be no Monday show, so this show next week will not be happening. However, we will do something at some point on Monday for you guys to be part of and ask questions. So as far as that Brian Mitchell question goes, maybe save that for this weekend. If we're on Instagram Live and we can get a hold of him, we'll walk over and ask him.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. All right, guys, you have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you over on Instagram when we do 5 Minutes of 5-Star Daily.
Bye,
you guys.
guys.
Have a great day. Bye.